Mount Pincince alongside head women's basketball coach Beryl Piper and head men's basketball coach Donyell Marshall as the official start to the basketball season has begun with practice. And we'll start with you, Coach Piper. Walk us through first couple days, what's been going on, what's been happening, where are we at this point? Are we ready to open the season on November 10th?
Well, the kids are ready, for sure, because they would rather play than practice, that's for sure. But we've actually had one practice. We practiced yesterday, was our first day. We went for 3 hours, so first long practice. So for our young kids, that's long, and I thought the practice went really well, considering that it was 3 hours and we have a lot of new kids on the team. Kids worked really hard, and they have some things, some goals for them that they've come up with that they're focusing on in practice, and I thought that they did a really nice job with that.
Coach Marshall, you guys are a couple days in, including a 6 a.m. practice this morning. That Monday morning 6 a.m. time is, how do they respond to a 6 a.m. practice on a Monday?
They responded pretty well. We've been doing 8 a.m.s a couple times throughout the preseason. A couple times I had to make them run at 7 a.m. So they've been used to it. I think the good thing for us is a little different than Coach Piper is actually we had everybody here in the summertime. And because of the way the NCAA rules are, we actually started practice on Thursday. Official practice Friday, but we had our 2 hours for the week, so we actually started on Thursday. So we're actually 5 days in of practice. So we're so far ahead than we were last year. So I think the good thing is we don't have to go 3 hours because we're so far ahead. We've been going and doing about 2 hours, 2:15, and getting straight to the point this year. The funny thing, like you said, is first 6 a.m. practice, but this is actually the first practice since I've gotten a job that we've actually finished ahead of the time that we actually had scheduled, because guys are focused. They're kicked out of the locker room, so they're trying to get back into the locker room. So practices have been great the first couple of days.
We'll try not to follow up that question to see what happened for that to happen, but we know that coaches sometimes have their motivational things that they want to get through, so we'll just leave it at that. Beryl, you guys are young, younger, maybe not young, but one senior, one graduate transfer. Who do you look for to be a leader, especially at the beginning of the year? You guys are going to practice just after we sit down here and talk, but who do you look for on your team to be that leader who can kind of take control from day one?
Right. Well, the kids, we chose captains, so Brianna Jacobs and Kiana Patterson were picked by their teammates to be the captains and to lead the team. So I think obviously with that being said, we look to those two kids to lead. Morgan Johnson is a grad player from Rhode Island, so she's a fifth-year kid who was a captain at Rhode Island, and I talked to her the other day about the experiences that she's had and what she can offer to the team, and that she needs to make sure that she speaks up and says things when she needs to say things, because she has a lot of good things to offer. So I think that that's really important for us. I think everybody has their little roles, their little things that they do. I had asked them some questions the week before they picked captains, gave them a bunch of questions about all their teammates, and they had to pick one kid for each category, that they felt was the best person for this or the best person for that. It was really interesting to see. So there's definitely certain kids that with the team that will have certain roles, even though they're not the captains, because their teammates look to them to be strong in that area. But with Bree and Kiana right now being captains, I do have high expectations of them in practice to speak up and make sure their teammates are doing the right things.
And how about your team? A very different look than last year. Lots of new bodies in. Casey gone. Who do you look for to be? You have two seniors on the team in Shaq and Moose, but who do you look for to be leaders, or who do you see maybe taking charge already?
The leaders that we pretty much designated are Tyson, Austin, and newcomer Joe, all for different reasons. Tyson's the point guard. He's the captain of the team. Austin is just his work ethic in the court on the court. A lot of guys follow him into the gym. He stays in the gym. We also tell Austin if he ever speaks and goes off on the team, I think the team would actually be surprised and follow what he says. And Joe is for what he does in the classroom. Joe came in with a 3.0. He's always posting videos and stuff on social media about him doing his work and all that stuff. And so those are the guys that we really look to because, they have the winning attitude and stuff. And, there's nothing against KC and Tydell and Safari. Sometimes it's difficult when you're playing for a coach 1 year. You learn a new system and things like that. But the guys we have coming back, they all know the system. The new guys were all here this summer, so they knew the system early. And the good thing for them is they all were coached well in their JUCOs in high school because a lot of drills that we were doing, they already knew. And those are the things that have made it easier for us. But as far as leadership, probably those three.
All right. Coach Piper, the second practice today and, one practice under your belt already. The opener not till November 10th, so for a couple of years now, we've extended that preseason a little bit more. How important are those couple extra weeks, and how will you space out getting ready for the 10th? It's not, it used to be October 15th, that was the first day, and we were trying to jam everything into 3 weeks, but it's not like that anymore. So are you able to space that out a little bit more?
It's 30 practices, and I don't know in the last few years that we've used all 30 practices. So we definitely kind of play it by ear. We have all our days scheduled. If we feel we need to take a day off and we don't need to go, we don't need to go. But right now it's pretty much, there's certain things that we want to make sure we have in. We're going to scrimmage a week earlier this year, so with that being said, we have certain things that we want to get in a little bit earlier so we can do that when we scrimmage. So we just keep working, and we're also working on our conditioning because we don't condition as long as we used to. So with the conditioning that we've had in the past, when the season started, our kids were ready to go. And now, because we don't condition as long, we have to really incorporate that into practice as well. So that kind of adds another dimension.
Give me a couple names of newcomers who fans may not be familiar with, but they might get pretty familiar with pretty fast.
Right. I talked about Morgan Johnson being a fifth-year kid, and I think, I think all our new kids really there's things that they can do. But we have Morgan Johnson, who's a fifth-year kid, our freshman, Emma McCamus from Canada. I think she's done some really good things, and she wasn't here over the summertime when we had our young kids here in the summer, and she wasn't here, but she's picking things up really quick, and I think she's going to do a great job. Ashley Forker is another young lady that came in over the summer, and I think, she's a really hard-working kid, and I think she has great leadership qualities for a freshman. We have Ashley Berube, who's a big kid for us. We don't have a lot of size, and she's going to kind of get thrown in the fire early. When we play at West Virginia and Virginia, she's going to get thrown in the fire early, and which is okay. I mean, you're going to learn really fast that you have to run the floor the way you have to run the floor. And we have Denisha Gardner, a young lady who is a junior college transfer that's coming in as well. So we're excited about our young kids.
How about you guys? Like, as we mentioned, lots of new faces. You mentioned Joe and the work that he puts in the classroom and on the court, but a new look for you guys, and year number 2. Who do you look for to make an impact and right off the bat?
Well, Moose has had a tremendous offseason. I think he came back prepared, ready to go. I think a lot of that has to do with he has competition at his spot now. So he knows, last year he kind of knew he had to play because of guys like Joe coming in, Kashawn coming back, that he knows he has the competition. But as far as the newcomers, Joe has been shooting the lights out at the 4 position. Kashawn, he can play 3 positions. He can play the 4 position, the 3 or the 2. Tyler Cole, Ross, he's going to be a tremendous player coming out of high school. He was getting recruited by Minnesota, Penn State, Rutgers, Dayton, and we were lucky and fortunate enough to be able to get a player of his caliber. So he's going to do well. The 2 freshmen, they've been a little bit injured, trying to get used to the up-tempo style and the physicality of college basketball. But both of them are going to be very good. Camacho's going to be able to run the team. There is a little bit of language barrier, but he knows the game of basketball. He picks it up really quick. Talik, everybody looks at his athleticism when they see his highlights. the one thing he can do is play defense. And I think that's the difference we're going to have this year. We're going to be a much better defensive team, but we're also going to be a better three-point shooting team. And I think that's going to open it up for the inside. But the new guys have definitely brought a new dimension for us.
All right. November 10th, you both open. You'll be on the road as you mentioned, at West Virginia. You'll be right down the road at the University of Hartford, and we get into the swing of things pretty quickly. But about 5 weeks away, we'll sit down a few times during that time and talk about who's doing well, who's maybe gotten a little bit better, who we can keep our eye on, and I'm certainly excited about the beginning of the basketball season. So thank you both for sitting down. We appreciate your time, and good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Anytime we can spend with you, Tom, is wonderful.